You know, when I started working on this film initially, it was something that was brought to my attention. The script was not written. We merely had a concept or an idea about making a Trek feature, and utilizing a lot of the actors from several of the different series, from the original series all the way through to Voyager. And so we worked together with a couple of writers to come up with a storyline that was going to incorporate both some of the good old Star Trek characters and scenes and things and concepts, as well as try to weave in some of the politics and social events that are occurring today. Which is consistent with the way Roddenberry did things. So the producer Doug Conway brought me this idea, and we worked together. Ethan Hawke and Jack Trevino and myself and Doug put together the storyline, and eventually they wrote the script. And we worked on it, put out about 2 or 3 drafts, and set a date and time to go ahead and shoot it. So, from that point, not having a story and a script to begin with, we all had a chance to pitch in and put together a piece that came off very nicely.
Allow me the pleasure of destroying it.
Typical Klingon, act first, think later. What do we gain by destroying it?
They are enemies of the Galactic Order.
Captain, intelligence indicates this vessel might be the one we've been searching for.
This could be very good for you. Capturing the Fox is sure to impress Curate Prime.
You know, the fact that this is not a Paramount project, and/or is a CBS, as it were, right now. Actually, there was a benefit to that creatively, because we could do whatever we wanted to. We had full control over the story and the shooting, the cast, and things like that. And as far as us being able to do the show, there is nothing wrong with us legally being able to shoot this movie. It's just a matter of how we distribute the film. That's when they would get involved one way or the other. So in coming up with it and shooting it, it was not a hindrance. In fact, it was probably to our advantage to be on our own to be able to do it. Star Trek is unique by virtue of the fact that Gene Roddenberry wanted to address the issues, social issues, social politics, our biases, our discriminations, our attitudes about things. He wanted to address all of these about our people and the cultural sort of ideals and ideologies by dressing them up in a science fiction concept. The characters, be they alien, could represent, a particular attitude. We could represent the other attitude, or vice versa, and be able to play these things out, to discuss and to demonstrate what these attitudes and difficulties and conflicts are, without actually showing them in real time, and really wrestle with them. And people would be able to watch the show and not have to consciously think about what was being talked about as real people, but as these alien characters in these alien settings, and in a sci-fi storyline. And I think that's really what he set out to do. Seasoned, of course, with the action and the humor and all the other things that go along with a good story. The drama was definitely set up and framed the concepts and the things, the cultural norms and the cultural attitudes and mores that we've established. That's what he set out to do, and I think that's what Star Trek does quite well, and in generally just telling very, very good stories.
You've probably forgotten an insignificant little planet called New Eden. I haven't. My family was there.
I thought I was doing my duty. Firing torpedoes from the bridge is so easy. You never see the faces.
When we conceived the story, we wanted to come up with something that we haven't seen in any of the Trek features, story-wise, and also to be able to incorporate some of the elements that of things in our world that we're dealing with now, i.e. terrorism, i.e. People who fight for a reason or a cause and why they do it. and also trading security for freedom. That trying to discuss the balance between those two, which would you give up for, would you give up freedom for security, or vice versa? So those are issues that we're all dealing with in the world right now, and certainly are topics for discussion. So we decided to go after those and sort of wrap them dress them up in the costume of Star Trek and the storytelling device of Star Trek.
We fight for our freedom.
Freedom. What is freedom without security? Nothing. The Galactic Order provides that security.
Only through fear and violence. Anyone who trades freedom for security deserves neither.
And also, we wanted to incorporate the other elements that we've come familiar with as well. I mean, we have all the action and the drama, and some humor in some places as well. So it looks and feels like the Trek films. Stylistically, we did change some things stylistically in the way it's shot and the way it looks, and those are all choices we made creatively as we go through the process, and that includes how we're doing the post as well. Walter. Walter is steadfast, and he's very extraordinarily dependable, and very very competent and very reliable, and extraordinarily talented. He surprised me in one particular scene in which he had a very emotional speech to make, and when I was going to shoot it, I talked to him about it briefly beforehand, and I was thinking that we might do a pass when it was as if it was more introspective to himself, thinking about it and remembering. And all he said to me was, "Let me just try something." And I said, "Good, we'll roll it." And when he laid into this speech, it was absolutely remarkable. I mean, it came off, it exploded. And I looked at the camera person. I said, "Are you sure you got that? Did you get that?" And of course, I wanted to roll it again and do the same thing and make sure that I got alternate coverage for it. But it was just interesting, the fact that he didn't explain what he was going to do. He just said, "Let me just try something." It was very casual, very subtle, and he just waylaid this speech. It was absolutely amazing, and we got it all on film, and it's in the story. So I was very, very, very pleased about that.
Somehow Harriman is connected to all of this.
I've heard enough.
No. We're going to need him in order to figure out how all of this happened.
No. I've been hunting that butcher for 20 years.
Why? Because he's part of the Galactic Order? Well, that's not good enough.
Because he slaughtered my family!